This video is not for all engineers. It's for specifically those engineers who have reached a point in their life where they are finding themselves in leadership positions, in decision making. And it always doesn't start like that in your engineering career. You start with designs. You sit behind a desk and figure out a problem, and mostly it's a defined problem. And then you grow, and one day you find yourself, you need to explain something to a client, you need to explain something to a team. All over a sudden, there are people who are working under you, and you are not ready for this. And you realize this is the time you need the so-called soft skills. So what I want to do is to break down for you in this video, in the next under 10 minutes, what soft skills looks like in the engineering leadership context. As usual, I have my notebook here ready for you so that I do not miss out on anything. I want to start with the common things that or the common soft skills that we get in the engineering CVs. And before the video ends, so I'll give you 5 soft skills that leadership engineering roles are asking for. I specifically reviewed these job descriptions and came up with these 5. They're not everything. If you have any other, be sure to add. So I'm going to start with communication. Of course, when you say soft skills, that's the first one that comes to mind, communication. But communication is not just speaking clearly. In engineering leadership, communication becomes translating decisions into something that technical teams, clients, stakeholders can act on. You want actions, okay? So in your CV, you can bring it out as management and coordination of input from different teams. You can bring it out if you did any client liaisons, if you managed any subcontractor or subconsultant agreements, you can bring it as such, yeah? And then the second one would be leadership, team leadership, project leadership. It's not taking authority. It's not being the boss. It means in an engineering leadership space, and as a soft skill, it means taking responsibility where the outcome depends on more than your work. So the outcome of what is needed is not just dependent on what you're doing. There are other people who are doing them, and you are overseeing what they are doing. So on your CV, you can bring it out as directing cross-functional teams to deliver project objectives and things like that. The third one that I would mention is teamwork. Of course, we all say that. Teamwork is not working well with others. It is, but as a leader, it is keeping the team working, moving, motivated to deliver. Yeah. Then on your CV, you can put it as managing input from different teams, coordinating different roles and things like that. Then the fourth one would be decision making. Yeah. This is not choosing between different options, because sometimes as an engineering leader, they actually don't have options to choose from, because everything needs attention. So it's deciding when every option has a trade-off. On your CV, you can say it as things like managing cost, time and performance constraints. You see, all these things are, they are pushing, and you have to give attention to each and every one of them. And the fifth one would be stakeholder management. And for stakeholder management, this would be balancing expectation from different kinds of people. There is what the client wants, there is what management wants, there is what the team wants. So everyone has what they want, and you need to balance it to get this project going. So an example would be pressure from management, and you balance it against engineering integrity, balancing things like client needs with what client needs, or maybe like client's budget with what's technically feasible. You get what I mean? So another thing, so that one you can present on your CV just as it is, stakeholder management. Then, of course, all these things you can be able to list out, especially on your ATS, you can list them out as keywords. You can also list them out, but as you do the keywords, make sure it's also relevant to the job you're applying to. On your modern CV, you can list them out under the skills, the ones that are relevant to the job you're applying to. And the sixth one, which is the final one also, would be problem solving. I said that I did not exploit this, so there could be more. And if you have more that you feel are top, put in the comment section. Problem solving is not fixing defined issues. That's what I was talking about. When you start your career, your problems are pretty much defined for you. Design this column, design this beam, design this foundation. Your problem is defined for you. But when you get to the leadership position, you find that the problem solving becomes working through a situation when the problem is not even clear, and you need to find out what the problem is. So as a leader, you can be able to be solving delivery bottlenecks, things like that. So the one that would work in your situation that you did in a leadership level, be sure to include that on your CV. And as I promised, I checked 5 engineering leadership jobs and came up with the soft skills that they were asking for. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I just listed them and I just want to read them for you. So there was a job asking for a team leader, and in the job description, they were asking for 3 years leadership or management role. So for this, in your CV, you want to bring that out, how you had a leadership position in 3 years. Okay, and then before I forget, if you want to know how to revamp your CV for a leadership role, the link is there. And the other thing they were asking for is communication and client management skills. Okay, so I was talking about earlier about client liaisons. And then there was the other job on lead design engineer. And for this one, they were asking for problem solving. I already defined for you problem solving in an engineering leadership capacity. They're asking for decision making. I defined that for you as well. They were asking for coordination and communication skills. Yeah. They're asking a person who is a team player. They're asking for organization skills, and they were specific. You're able to prioritize on tasks, and you're able to meet timelines under high pressure. The third role that I looked at was design manager. And for this one, they did not ask much, or they did not break down much, but they asked for a specific certification. So also, you can be able to list that on your CV, especially if you're seeking leadership positions. The other one was technical principal. And for this one, they were asking for written, verbal, and verbal skills. And you might think maybe this is something that they just need for entry-level engineers, but it's not true. It's just that in this capacity of a leader, then it will be different. You'll be writing to different people. The communication will be at an executive level, also with teams, but as a leader now. And then they were also asking for ability to engage the executive and the regulatory authorities. So those are some of the soft skills that they're asking for at leadership position, and I think that becomes the most important thing when you become a leader. Of course, you have to prove technical know-how also, because you'll be overseeing technical teams, but also the soft skills must come out from you. Cheers.